Hello, I am here in the Parc écologique Jean-Paul Forand in Shefford. It is raining a wee bit. It was snowing earlier, but no big deal. It's super warm out, so I have stuck to my guns and I am coming out for my nature time today, my daily dose. And today I brought a friend, my brother, Justin.
Hi.
He has been a fan of my nature nerding for quite some time. I'd say the last 10 years at least. How many?
28 years.
28. So I guess for him it goes a little bit further back. So the two of us are going to be walking a little bit today and doing some exploring. So as I said, I am at the Parc écologique Jean-Paul Forand in Shefford. And I'm obviously going to take advantage and let you know about a couple of the cool features of each of the places that I'm visiting so that you can decide whether it's something that interests you or not. I know for a fact that a lot of folks who have a dog at home, they're always looking for places where they can go walking with their four-legged friend. And we're lucky because we have a fair few options out in the area. Of course, very important to always have your dog on a leash. There are lots of reasons behind that. There are ecological reasons having to do with disrupting the wildlife, but there are also just social reasons, being respectful of people who aren't necessarily comfortable with dogs, people who are with their own dogs and who are being confronted by a strange dog who's not on a leash. That could be problematic. So just generally for safety and ecological reasons, please always keep your dog on a leash. And so yeah, here at the park in Shefford that I'm at today, you can bring your furry little friend on a leash, enjoy the trails on foot. They're open year-round. In the winter, you can access the trails with snowshoes, snowshoe or with your crampons, not a problem. As promised, I wanted to cover a species of the day today. Let me start by asking a question. If you look in the background behind me, what do you notice as far as colors? So we often think of winter as being a time of death and inactivity, and things kind of get a little bit less vibrant in the color department. When we're in the forest, we see a lot of green left by the needles that are, never mind the dancing woodland gnome. We see a lot of green because of the needles on the conifers or on the evergreen trees. But in this case, there's a tree that still has some leaves attached. And I'll bet you've noticed this in other wooded areas around home. So let's take a closer look at them. So we focus in on the beech trees that a lot of them keep their leaves throughout the winter, and so it's this rare color other than brown and green and white that we can see in the winter. So what I wanted to do was find a bigger beech tree and look at its base for its fruits, not fruits, for its nuts, but that's not gonna happen. There's a solid layer of ice there, and
If we were a squirrel, maybe this would work.
yeah, I need my digging paws. I don't think that's gonna happen. So we're gonna move on to another beech tree and see if we can find some there. So our mission to find a beechnut was unsuccessful. I will still, however, look at some of the features of the beech tree that'll help you identify it. So the next time you're out, you can nerd it up and show your friends. So here is the leaf of the beech tree. Of course, that's not the color it is all year round. I have a question for you that I'd like you to do some research on and get back to me with the answer. What is responsible for the green color that leaves typically have? And so if you want to come in a bit closer, looking at specifically the form of the beech leaf. So it's this nice kind of teardrop or elongated teardrop form. There's a point at the end. Then if you notice, there are veins that are running perfectly parallel to one another. It's very satisfying for the OCD folks out there. And equally satisfying is the fact that each vein ends in a little tooth. So one tooth, one vein is a good rule of thumb to use in recognizing the beech tree and its leaves. And then if you see here, the leaves that'll be coming in for the next season are currently buds, and the buds themselves have a peculiar form or a particular form. They almost look like little cigars, little roll-ups. They're kind of pointy, and they're really neat little things. So those are two features you can look out for. Today it's a little bit difficult to notice because it's raining, but generally the bark is a nice light gray, smooth texture. And something that actually a girl that was in one of the camps I was doing, she taught me as far as recognizing beech trees by their trunks and from a distance, is that they almost look like an elephant's leg. So it's kind of a neat trick to use because it's not every tree that looks like that. So those are three features. You can use the leaf, the shape, and the veins, the way that they're arranged, and you can use the bud, and you can also use the bark on the trunk of the tree. And as far as the beechnut, I'm going to leave that one up to you. Oh, hi there. So we're coming to the end of our nature nerding excursion for the day here at the Parc écologique Jean-Paul Forand in Shefford. And I have so far shown you, I've introduced, perhaps for the first time, the beech tree. And I would like to now get to the portion where I talk about the word of the day. So species of the day is the beech tree, the American beech, Latin name Ficus grandifolia, if you're curious. The word of the day. First I'm going to start by giving you a bit of background as to why I chose that word. I started doing these videos, I started talking about nature nerding as a way to essentially get people reacquainted with nature, and the whole purpose of that is for the mutual benefits that it brings. So when I say mutual benefits, I mean the benefits to you and I in terms of health, in terms of wellness, but I also mean the benefits it brings to the greater environment. And you might ask, well, how does my being outside in nature benefit the environment? It benefits by establishing that first contact, or that continued link between you and the natural world. And when you think about things that you care about, well, first you had to know those things. You had to know a little bit about them. You had to know that they existed first and foremost. So the more you get out in nature, the more you realize there are natural spaces all around you, the more they're going to enter your sphere of concern, and the more you're going to care about them and want to protect them. So that's kind of the underlying goal behind these walks and these videos. So the word I want to present to you today, and I'm going to let you research it and come back to me and I'll look more at it tomorrow, is biophilia. So it's Biophilia. Biophilia. You might already have an idea of what it means based on its makeup, but I'm going to let you go ahead and research it, and tomorrow I'm going to look at it in more detail with you guys after you have done a little bit of looking into it on your own. So species of the day is the American beech. The word of the day is biophilia. And next up, right before I sign off, is going to be the mystery of the day.